Hello, hello. What is going on? This is Ricardo of the Code 7 Podcast Network, and we're about to get started with Open Mic Live. But first, as always, a word from our sponsor.
At InDigital, we know the public safety professionals hold themselves to a high standard. In fact, standard doesn't do it justice. In over 25 years working alongside you, carrying millions of calls over our IP networks, your dedication has inspired us. That's why our ESI Net goes beyond industry standards, not only i3 compliant, but designed to adapt to future development for a network you can count on when it matters most. Learn more at indigital.net.
If Within the Trenches has ever taught you something, open your eyes to what it is like to be a 911 dispatcher, or has inspired you to become one, then help support us and join our Patreon. Get exclusive bonus content, one-of-a-kind swag, discounts on merchandise, ad-free early access to new episodes, and much more. To join, please visit patreon.com/WTT podcast. And if you're an industry partner, we have something for you as well. And now, for the show.
This is Jordan, and you're listening to the Code 7 Podcast Network.
Warning. This episode contains the 3 A's of podcasting: adult content, adult language, and awesomeness. You've been warned.
Dispatch.
There is no one over here to cook our lunch. We are waiting for our lunch, and there's no one here to cook our lunch.
All right, calm down. Where are you at?
The group home. Now, what are you going to do?
We'll get some help over there for you, okay?
Welcome to Open Mic, where we visit the lighter side of dispatch, because laughing is good medicine. Yo, what is going on? Once again, this is Ricardo of the Code 7 Podcast Network, and we are getting started here with Open Mic Live. And let me tell you, I don't know about all of you, but I am exhausted. But I'm here. And things are going well. There's a lot of stuff that that has happened this week that I'm excited to share. And again, we're going to get to that here in just one moment. But this live broadcast is sponsored by InDigital, a leader next gen core services, and a big shout out to new patrons as well as new Facebook subscribers. As always, thank you for everything. I wouldn't be able to do what I do for a living if it wasn't for all of you here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and then all of you over here on TikTok as well. Thank you. I appreciate it more than you know. Let's see, episode 485 went out already. I've got episode 486 for subscribers that is going to be coming out here pretty soon. So that is going to be an excellent one as well. There's a lot of good episodes that are coming up and a lot of people that I'm going to be interviewing here pretty soon as well. So make sure to look out for those episodes. But as always, what we do here on Open Mic is we check in with each other. So how are you doing? So first thing, roll call. Where are you watching from? And what is your number? How are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being shitty and 10 being awesome. How are you feeling? How are you doing? Now, although I'm exhausted, I'm coming in at like a 9, man. I'm super excited to be here with all of you today. And we'll get into a little bit of why my ass is exhausted. But throw it in there. Throw it in the comments here on TikTok and then over here with Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Your numbers, scale of 1 to 10. Where are you at? But also, where are you watching from? So over here, see Kimmy and Chad jumping in here. Hello, welcome. And then I had Isaac over here jumping in as well. And then let's see. Serenity. Damn. Okay. Well, hopefully we can get your number up a little more. I know, of course, that doesn't do anything for what you're going through right now. And I'm really sorry. My condolences as well on your dog passing. I had a lot of dogs growing up, and just a lot of bad luck that happened with them. But every single one of them I was super close with, and I don't have any animals now. However, um, my brother has a dog. His name is Dio. That dog is amazing, and if anything ever happened to him, I would be devastated, and he's not even my dog. So I feel for you. I hope we can get that number up, even if it doesn't go up a lot, even if it stayed the same. Hopefully you'll end up being good because you're in good company here with all of us. So hopefully we can get you, some laughs or anything for you here as well. Chad checking in from Wisconsin at an 8. All right, that's good. Jumping in at an 8, and Isaac saying my dog gave birth to 13. Holy crap, that is a lot of them. Um, as we continue on here, a reminder for those on Facebook: stars. Hook it up with some stars if you can, and then over here on TikTok, diamonds if you can. That would be awesome. Again, because I wouldn't be able to do everything that I do if it wasn't for all of you, and I appreciate your support more than you know. Believe me, more than you know. Um, Once again, 485 went out. 486 is going to be coming up next. We've got some, or I have some speaking engagements. If you are going to the conference in Texas, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at the Texas conference in Galveston, and I'm going to be the keynote speaker as well as doing the podcast there with attendees, recording and doing a couple live broadcasts. We might even do open mic live from the conference, and that would be awesome. I believe you. I believe you. And also, those who are jumping in over here on TikTok, hook it up with a follow as well, because there's a lot of good content that I'm going to be putting out there, a lot more dispatch stories and everything else. And then, of course, those over here that are watching on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, please make sure to follow and subscribe. So, an announcement, one of the announcements that I put out there was that we've got a new media partner. So I want to play this really quick. This was I'm moving all over the place because I've got I've got my camera here and the camera here, and it's blocking what I'm seeing. There it is right there. Okay, good lord. Got to get this all figured out. Okay, so I'm going to change the audio settings over here really quick for those watching over here on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. I'm going to switch the camera around over here um, for everybody to be able to see on. Let me see here. Just going to switch it up. So hopefully you'll be able to see this a little bit. Need a bigger console. You're right, dude. I do need a bigger console. All right, here we go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Boom. So there you go. There is an announcement right there. And that announcement right there has to do with the fact that the new media partner is Hero Light Training LLC, and that is run by Tracy Ertl. She's got about 28 years of experience in public safety and some awesome training. So if you're looking for any training or anything for your dispatch center, make sure to check them out. They do a lot of their stuff in person, but they also do a lot of stuff online as well. And she's just returning from Wisconsin, or a dispatch center in Wisconsin, and she's doing a lot of good stuff. Some of those pictures that were there were from the most recent trip. So if you have not heard about Hero Light, make sure to find Hero Light. You can also go to my website, that's withinthetrenches.net, and just scroll down and you'll see her right there. The logo actually for the media partner. Click on it and all of the information will come up there. So there you go, right there. Hero Light Training LLC. And I've got another one here, another announcement that I want to make. And this one, honestly, I never thought that something like this would happen, but it has happened. and I am super excited about it. And that is the fact that not only is Within the Trenches podcast 10 years old, that 2023 marks 10 years, but I just surpassed 2 million downloads. 2 million. What the fuck? For real. Like, I never would have thought that when I very first started all of this. And here we are, surpassed 2 million. And the podcast is heard in over 60 countries. So I have to thank all of you and all of you for the support, for listening, for sharing. A lot of you coming onto the podcast and sharing your stories, but also trusting me to share those stories. So I'm gonna turn the camera around again here for all of you. Hopefully you were able to see a little bit, but those videos, they're already on TikTok already anyway. But let me switch this back over here. All right, here we go.
You know, a lot of things have happened over the years. This podcast, Within the Trenches, is 10 years old. It's been an amazing experience. And this morning, I was checking a few things. And right here, 2 million downloads. I never thought in the beginning that I would even hit a number like that. And the podcast is heard in over 60 countries. And it's all because of all of you. This all started as a college project and became bigger than I could ever imagine. But if it wasn't for your support and your trust in me to share your stories, this podcast wouldn't be what it is today. So thank you for 2 million, for 10 years, for being close to hitting 500 episodes. And there's so much more to come. Thank you.
Oh shit. That's right. There it is. 2 million downloads. Holy moly, man. It has been an amazing experience. And I want to jump over here in the comments really quick. We've got as I mentioned before, Chad jumping in from Wisconsin at an 8. Emma Teagan, hello. Ontario, Canada, 10 out of 10. Excuse me. This is it's a weekend off. All right. Char coming in here saying woohoo, a day of sick and twisted humor at the fire station, and now open mic, rolling in on a solid 8, sending you a big hello from Alberta. Yeah, welcome. Got Canada up in this piece. I love it. So we've got all of that. 2 million. Woo! That is so fucking amazing, man. But again, if it wasn't for all of you trusting me with your stories and coming on to share those stories, this podcast wouldn't be what it is. So thank you, all of you, very, very much. Over here, you're an inspiration. Keep up the great work. I appreciate it. It's been, it has been something. It has been amazing. The experience has been amazing. So thank you for that as well. Also, so I mentioned, I'll say this before I play this other video and before we get into some of the funny shit that I want to talk about here. So I put out the "and I am 911" shirts. They're the ones that say like badass, resilient, but it says like resilient and badass and then it just goes and at the bottom it ends up saying I am 911 and I am 911. So I screen print. I screen print all of those t-shirts. Like I buy the blanks, right? I buy the blanks, but I designed them and I screen print all of them on my own. So a few days ago, I was playing catch up, like it seems like I'm usually doing. I was playing catch up and I posted a couple of videos of me doing some of the screen printing. But dude, so in this room that I'm in, that flash dryer that I use to make sure that the ink is set in there the way it's supposed to be, it gets around 600 degrees. Like, that alone is 600 degrees. It doesn't make the room 600 degrees. It feels like it. Believe me, it feels like it. I'm fucking sweating in there, or in here rather, and I'm just screen printing, screen printing, screen printing, and it was, I don't know, over 100 shirts or something. I was working for about 5 or 6 hours straight, just doing it and doing it and doing it, because you don't just start out right away, right? You have to make sure that the ink is mixed very well so that it's creamy. So it's creamy enough to where when you're doing it, it goes through the screen the way it's supposed to. Otherwise, you're gonna get some shit shirts. So, Lavelle, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Um, it took a lot to learn how to do the screen printing, and it was a pain in the ass, but I love it. It's kind of therapeutic, the process of creating t-shirts, designing and doing all of it. Um, but I start out with a bunch of test shirts to make sure that the design is right and that it's coming out right. But there's some casualties, because I'll get into a groove and I'll go to pull the shirt off, and if I pull the shirt off too hard, it distorts the design. So then afterwards, when I'm done and I go through the shirts, I look to see if there's any casualties, because I'm not just gonna put some shit out there. I'm not gonna put my name on something that's not good. So I'm kind of a perfectionist, which sucks. But I think all of us in this profession, in a way, in some way, right? In some way, you're perfectionists, and it sucks, right? It's not the best thing. It kind of blows. It's a good thing and a bad thing, because it gives you kind of that work ethic, right? You wanna do the best, but then sometimes it can hinder you a little bit when you're doing it, because then you're like, "Oh, fuck. I think I need to do this again." So, out of, I don't know, 100 something shirts, I think I had, like, 5 or 6 casualties. So then I had to go back just yesterday and screen print a bunch more, and, I'm a little sore today, but you're gonna love those shirts. They're gonna be awesome, and I have some more, they're gonna be coming out soon, so make sure to look out for those. They're gonna be good. And over here on TikTok, I'm loving all the likes, I see all these hearts popping up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the hearts and the reactions. I appreciate it more than you know. Don Bennett, what's up? Jumping in here saying, "Good evening, friends. Congrats on the book." Thank you. That's the next video that I'm gonna play here. And then Shar, what's up? Huge props to you for making your own merch and not outsourcing it. Dude, I was outsourcing it a little bit there, and those shirts blew ass. Like, I couldn't do it anymore. And because I'm also a graphic designer, I thought, why don't I just teach myself how to do it? What? Casualties. I didn't even think about that. Well done, Serenity. Yes, very punny. Oh, man, I feel stupid. I didn't even realize. Oh, that's good, though. I like it. I like it. Chad says, you shipped mine out. Should be here Monday." Yes, yes. And also, really quick, if you want to make your post office workers happy, and you're using stamps.com or anything like that, and you're bringing them stuff, if you haven't scheduled a pickup, when you go to drop all that shit off, like me taking in tons of packages and them looking at me like, "This son of a bitch." When I put them all on there, the one of the ladies that was there the last time I was dropping off a bunch of shit, she walks up and she just smiles and is like, "Did you remember?" And I held up my sheet, my scan sheet, and I said, "You damn right I remember." She was so happy. So, a reminder, if you wanna make your post office workers happy and you're taking in a bunch of pictures, a bunch of packages, make sure you have that scan sheet, because that has a list of all the stuff that you prepared, and all they have to do is scan it once instead of scanning all of that shit. They were happy. So little tip, a little tip there. All right. So last video that I'm going to play here, I'm going to discuss it a little bit, and then we're going to jump into these memes. There are 3 memes that I want to talk about that has to do, well, I mean, really, it can do with anybody, but it really does something for those who work in public safety as well. So we're going to get to that here in just 1 second. Let me put this up here, and I'm going to switch camera back around. All right, here we go.
August 24th, 2016, the I Am 911 movement is born. One of my personal stories set the tone for this movement. What started out as a way to raise awareness for the reclassification issue for dispatchers quickly turned into peer support. 911 professionals from all over the world were sharing their stories. On Facebook alone, at that time, the engagements were over 34 million. It spawned a peer support session at conferences called Imagine Listening, where dispatchers shared their stories out loud or on paper. For years, I have been asked if this would ever become a book, coming June 2023 from Titletown Publishing. I Am 911. Imagine Listening. Your worst day is our everyday in 911.
Oh my God. I cannot tell you how excited I am for this. Like, excited doesn't even explain it. But I want to move back here just to show you this. I wanted to make sure to put this in the video. The fact that when everything jumped off, these were the numbers, the engagements, the reach. I mean, look at the reach. This is all from the I Am 911 movement. This is all from those stories. 3.2 million was the reach, but the post engagements, 34.38 million. Wow. Let me switch this camera over here. Dude. Yeah. That right there, those are the numbers. That shows you how this was doing and will continue to do, especially when this book comes out. So I have been busting my ass to make this deadline in order to get all of this stuff prepared for the book. This is another reason why I'm exhausted, but so happy, like happy exhausted for that, of course. The crazy thing though is that, so I want to talk about this a little bit so that people understand, okay? A few things to understand about this book. The meat of this book are, of course, the stories, the memes that people sent in, right? That submitted. They submitted these anonymously for the I Am 911 movement. The problem, the problem is that the memes that were sent in, those pictures, a lot of those pictures are taken from Google Images, and they're not royalty free. Like, there's copyrights on some of those. So what I have to do is, and I guess I really don't have to, but for me, I want to keep the integrity of the original stories the way they came in as much as possible. So what I mean by that is the stories that were sent in, the stories remain. That text, the wording, that will remain. The image, however, I have to purchase a license for, like Shutterstock or something like that, for images that I can use, that I have a license for to be able to use like that in print. And a lot of those original images are not print quality, meaning if those images, the original ones, were put on a or put in a book, it would be like Nintendo style. I mean, 8-bit is cool, right? But not when you're trying to read a story, and it would be really blurry. So I have to go in, and all of the ones that we because there were a lot of people who were sending in the stories that were just text, and then myself and those that were part of my admin team at the time, we were finding images that we could use, and we were putting the text that was sent in onto those images. Does that make sense? So for all of the other stories, I have to recreate all of those as much as possible. I am going as far as, because I'm a design nerd, I can tell fonts. This probably sounds like the nerdiest shit, but because I do a lot of graphic design, I can tell what font is what. So those original memes that came in, those images, I'm finding images that I can use that are as close as possible to the original and adding the original story onto that image, but also using even almost the same font or one that's similar to it, because I want to keep the integrity of those original ones as much as possible. All of the originals will remain on social media. Does this make sense? Is everyone following me? All of the originals will remain. What Char says, please tell me it will be available in Canada or digital books. Yes, it will. It will. So again, all of the original stories will remain on social media and will be added to social media the way they have been for the entire time since they started in 2016. However, when it comes to the book, I have to recreate those. Um, but I promise you, it is going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. Again, the stories are the same. What people sent in as their text, that remains. That's the story. That story remains. It's just the image that had to be changed because those other ones, either they have a copyright on them or the quality wasn't as high as it needs to be in a book. So I had to switch those up. But again, I'm trying to match them as close as possible to the originals with, of course, the original text on there already. And it has been pretty awesome to do that and just the whole process. Now, here's the other thing. Someone asked, how are you going to choose which ones to put in the book? So here's the thing. Now, this is something I haven't mentioned yet. I mentioned, I mean, the announcement went out there, right? And it had a huge, like, people are just waiting for it to launch, which I can't thank you enough for that, because that is amazing. Um, this is not going to be just one book. This is going to be a book series. So, to the person who asked, how am I going to pick which stories are going to be in the one book? There's going to be more than one book. This Imagine Listening is going to be a series of books, but also on top of the series of books, I also signed for my own dispatch memoir to chronicle my time in dispatch, and it'll be based around 5 or 6 personal IM 911 stories that I shared. There you have it. That's what this is going to be. Lavelle, as for the pre-purchase, that is going to be coming out pretty soon. Again, I got to hit that deadline, which is actually very soon. But the first in a series of books for Imagine Listening, for those IM 911 stories, that is going to be coming out in June. And I have to say that a lot of people who have read these stories, not just so much read the stories, but also sent them in, they have talked about how they have helped, how it's been so therapeutic for them to get their stories out there. And Jack, I hope so. I really do. Because there is a lot of healing in sharing, and a lot of people have sent in emails saying that through these stories, through reading them, they have been able to heal or find some sort of closure through reading the stories, but also sharing their own. It gave them motivation. It inspired them to share their own. And that's what this has been about this whole time. This started out, or at least the I Am 911 movement started out as a way to raise awareness for the reclassification issue, but it quickly exploded. And people were sharing stories so much that it quickly turned into peer support. Because one of the main things that I was getting emails about were people saying that they no longer felt alone. It was crazy to see how many of us felt alone. What the fuck? There's a lot of us. Our voices, this is our weapon. Yet for whatever reason, outside of the job that we do, we were silenced. We weren't talking. I mean, it felt like we couldn't, right? And then we started, and it hasn't stopped. It's a new day, and it has been so good to be able to talk about this, but also for those sharing their stories to be able to share them anonymously and help others who might feel like they're feeling alone. So thank you, all of you, again, for trusting me with sharing those stories, to be able to share those stories out there everywhere. And that's what's going to happen in June. So many more people are going to be able to have this first book. And I mean, even pass it on to a friend or family member and say, a warning, of course. There's a warning in the book. Believe me, there's a warning right in the beginning talking about it, saying that, you know, this might not be suitable for all audiences. You're reading at your own risk. But even after that, people have been reading, people have been sharing, they've been learning, but they'll be able to hand that off to a friend or family member and say, look, if you ever wondered certain things about dispatch, check out this book. Imagine listening to something like this. Now, one thing there's there's the book series, there's the memoir that I'm going to be working on, but there are other things as well. They're going to be coming up. I mean, the audio part alone here on TikTok and over here, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, you've been able to listen to a lot of the stories that were shared that I have also read. So I've recorded myself reading some of these stories and putting out there. And that's kind of how that audio version will go as well, because I have hours of audio from Imagine Listening sessions. Now, one more thing. If you are a patron of the podcast or a Facebook subscriber of the podcast, bonus content is going to be coming out where I'm recording this process and this journey of the creation of this book through Titletown Publishing. So there's some extra stuff there that's going to be coming out for those who are subscribers. There's going to be some more bonus content that's going to be coming out, and I was working on a bunch of stuff earlier and recorded some, and it's just kind of recording the process of what I'm doing with a lot of these stories and how I think about a lot of those. So look out for that. And over here on TikTok, thank you all I see that we're up to 1,000 likes already. That's pretty badass. Thank you. I appreciate it more than you know. I want to look back over here. Let's see. So freaking cool. Can't wait. Awesome. We'll be watching. Zach, what is going on? Welcome, welcome. Chantel says, I was telling my father in law about them last night, how much it helped me feel less alone when I live my own story. I love that. Again, that's what this is all about. See, Lavelle saying stigma. We had to be strong on the outside. Right. No, you're right. And Jack says, I am almost 20 years out of this line and it has done a lot for me. Awesome. Chantel, yep, tons of expectation that we will keep soldiering forward despite what we see here because our shift partners need us more than we need to heal. And yeah, what Kimmy says, excuse me, sir, I'm going to need your John Hancock on my copy. We'll work on all of that. Yes. I'll be working on all of that there as well. And oh my, I love the stories. Yes. There are some pretty I mean, they're all powerful, right? There are some stories that are pretty hard too. But those honestly, those are the ones that people seem to relate to the most. Like there's a lot of stories, right, that are being shared that are saves as well. But it's those hard gut-wrenching ones that people seem to relate to more. So there's a lot of stuff that's coming, and I am super psyched, super excited for all of it. And again, if you're a patron of the podcast or a Facebook subscriber, you'll be getting a lot more of that information and stuff that's coming up as well. All right, so let's jump over here. Let's talk about and okay, this could go two ways. I want this to go more into a funny way, okay? Because there's a lot of ways that the job has changed us, whether it's dispatch or public safety as a whole. We're all first responders. So, I'm going to put this meme up there, and for those over here on TikTok, I'll just tell you what it says. It's just a cat that's going like this, and it says 3 seconds after locking the door, me, did I lock the door? And that's the punchline of it is, the cat going, I don't know. So, this was one of the last things that I was going to share last week, but didn't get a chance to because we were talking so much about all the other stuff. So, and I think this right here about locking the door is kind of a funny thing as to how the job has changed me. So, any of you, how has the job changed you? Kind of in a funny way, because this is a more of a lighthearted broadcast. But a lot of people did share in the comments how it has changed them, like, kind of a harder way. But for this right here, as this example, 3 seconds after locking my door, did I lock my door? I do this shit all the time. How many of you are the same? And I know it's because of the amount of 911 calls that I took while in dispatch. And so one that I'll mention right off the bat, this lady called in once, okay? This lady called in, and it was her and I believe her granddaughter, and they were sitting at home in the living room. The reason she called 911 to begin with was because she said that her elderly neighbor was I just saw this over here from Serenity. Bad puns are how how I roll. I love that. I love that. Lab says that's me 100%. All right, I'm in good company then. Um so I remember this phone call, okay? This lady was telling me about her elderly neighbor who was walking around outside of the house, okay? And she was kind of freaked out by it. She had her granddaughter there with her, and she kind of wanted someone to just do some extra patrol, or if they saw the guy out there to kind of talk to him or something, or see what he was doing, right? I was like, okay. And I'm taking information down, and then out of nowhere, the crazy thing right now is that I can see myself sitting in dispatch taking this call and imagining what was going on, like what she was seeing, but I can see all of that right now, which is the craziest shit, right? Some of those calls, that's how much they stick with us that you remember everything that was going on. I remember sitting there. It was right before I was about to take a bite to eat, and this is happening, and I'm imagining what she is seeing, and I can see this in my head right now. Oh my god. Like it was yesterday. So, she starts screaming, like super loud screaming. And I can hear it in my head right now. The reason she was screaming is because that guy was inside her house. Okay, so remember, they're sitting in the living room. This is summertime. While she's talking to me on the phone, she just happened to turn around and bam, that guy is in there. And she's screaming and yelling, "Get out, get out, get out." And I can hear him like trying to mumble or something. And then she like grabs her granddaughter and turns around. And then she turns around again. The dude's gone. And I had already put the information in and it kind of yelled over to my partner who's on main radios and was like, this is what's going on right now. So they stepped it up. They're hauling ass. They get out there and the guy, he didn't even know where he was at. That little old man didn't know where he was at. He actually had like the beginning stages of like dementia and stuff. And so she ended up being fine. Everything was okay, but I'll never forget that screaming and it might have been around that time that it didn't matter what time of day, I always lock my door because of shit like that. And I remember that. So let me look over here in the comments. So over here in the comments on TikTok, Labs over here says that's me 100%. Yep. And then looking over here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, Tracy says, I don't leave my purse in the car under my seat anymore. Ah, see? How many of you do that as well? You don't leave your shit in your car because you know what'll happen, especially if you go to a state park that you know where shit goes down. I'm not leaving my shit in there. Not gonna happen. Let's see. Kimmy says guilty. However, I like to view it as me being proactive and double checking myself. Self accountability builds a stronger mind. You're correct. No, I like that. I dig it. I'm gonna start doing the same thing because I kind of shame myself after doing it. I'm like, "What the fuck is your problem?" Saying that to me, I mean, I say that to myself. See, Chantel says, "I do this, but it isn't about the job. It's because my stupid cat is an escape artist." Oh, well, there you go. Okay. And then Oma over here says, "Yes, I lock the door, but sometimes I have to yell, 'Doors down,' or I'll forget to put the garage door down and drive off." Oh, yeah. Let's see. Shar says, "Yep, 1000%. I've made my husband turn back and go home more times than I can count because I can't for the life of me remember if I lock the doors or shut something off. Emergency services has given me an amazing family by choice that has my back through thick and thin, both on and off the job." Yeah, I like that. Lavelle says, "Guy got out of the shower and found a lady asleep in his bed." Wait, what? For real? Continue the story. Oh, it's right there. It says, "Didn't know her. She was on drugs and found an unlocked door." Dude, see? Again, another reason why I make sure that all of my doors are locked. Let's see, Lab says, "I'm so glad it's not just me." Nope, not just you. There's a bunch of us here that do the same shit. Oh man. See? So that the drugs thing and finding people. Another call I took once. This lady calls and she is freaked out because she just woke up and she found someone on her couch, passed out, just snoring. sawing logs straight up. And going through the call with her, I already have help heading over there. And I said, ma'am, are you sure there wasn't anybody that was supposed to be visiting or anything? And she goes, no, like she was adamant. Hell no. No, nobody's supposed to be here. Nothing like that. And then the dude starts moving and she starts screaming. And I'm like, the guy's awake. The guy's awake. And the officers were just getting there. And I'm telling her to get away, like be safe, go somewhere where she's going to be safe, going through all the stuff that we're supposed to do. And then she says a name. She says a name. And I hear, what? Huh? Yeah, it's me. What? It's me. And I was like, ma'am, who are you talking to? Are you talking to the gentleman who's on the couch? And she goes, it's my brother-in-law. So he was down the road at a bar and was a little tipsy and walked to their house because he wasn't about to drive home, which good for you, person. But also her husband didn't let her know that he was supposed to be going over there. He didn't just like walk in or whatever. He was supposed to go there and go to sleep. But had he not been drinking or anything, he would have driven there. But still, it ended up being the brother-in-law. But it was utter bedlam up until the point when she found out who it was. Because, man, I was sure that she was going to knock that motherfucker out. The way she was talking. And I'm just typing like crazy, hard and fast. And everybody knew, like, oh, shit. Because you know that if you hear someone on a call, and a lot of times they're not talking and they're just typing hard and fast, some shit is going down, and be ready for it. And that is exactly what was going on with this call. Like, that's what people were listening to. And it's just me typing hard and fast. But it turned out to be the brother-in-law, which thank the Lord for that, because I don't know, shit could have, anything can happen in 911. Let's see, Chad says, happens a lot at my center, busy college party town. Folks stumble home drunk thinking they are at the right house, but they aren't. Oh, man. But that's me. So, like, when I'm done with this, I'll probably stay up for another couple hours. Okay? Plus, because I have a deadline I have to meet. So I'm working nonstop to meet that deadline. So that so that this book can launch in June. This June. But when I go to sleep, I go and I check each door, and I shit you not, it happens every single time. The sliding door in the back, it's probably locked, but I will go and check it anyway. I will stand in the kitchen forever looking at the sliding door. And I'll be thinking, I know it's locked. I do. I know it's locked. But I'm going to go check it anyway. Because I can't help it. Because if not, I'll walk halfway up the stairs. Wait. Jesse says, "You sleep? What is that?" Dude, no, for real. Maybe 4 hours. 5 hours the most. Anything over 5 hours, I feel like shit. For real. I feel like shit. I don't know what it is. One of these days, I'll get more sleep, but this is how it is for now. Same, bro, same. Yeah, there you go. 4 to 5 hour club. Woo! Recognize. Um, so I will get sometimes halfway up the stairs, and then I'll stand there and I'll think, if I don't go check the damn sliding door, I'm not gonna be able to sleep. I'm gonna be laying in bed staring at the ceiling, and my bitch ass is gonna have to go downstairs anyway. There was one time, maybe more than one time, that I have laid in bed staring at the ceiling and then shit. Then I'll get up and I'll go back. Oh, Jack says, "It's been 20. I still am in the 4 to 5 hour club." It doesn't go away, right? It doesn't go away. I can't help it. It does not go away. Like, even with the meditation and yoga and everything else that I do, I still get those 4 to 5 hours, sometimes a little over 5 hours. But I feel like it's because I sleep harder. Like, when I go to sleep, like, when I've meditated or I've done yoga right before sleeping, I have a more restful sleep, and then when I wake up, I'm like, "Let's do this, let's go." I'm all about it. But sometimes I feel like horseshit, and then I'm like, "I don't wanna do anything." Let's see, I do that, but then go, "Eh, if the boogeyman's gonna get in, I've had a good run." Okay, how many of you think that as well? Because I've also done that. I've I've been there for a moment thinking, it's been alright, it's been okay. No one's gonna write a song about me or anything, but I've had a good life. Oh, man. That's where I get sometimes. That's when I'm super tired, I'm like, "Fuck it. I'm just gonna go to sleep." And Kimmy over here says, "Bring on the boogeyman." So, see, you're not the only one. That's great. I love it. Alright. I wanna switch over to this next one because this next one kind of goes with the same thing. So, let me pull it up here really quick. And for those on TikTok, I'll tell you again, what it is that it says. And please, for all of you watching, whatever platform you're on, please make sure to share the broadcast and throw in some likes, throw in some reactions. I appreciate it. It brings more people in, more people can watch, and we can have more of a discussion as well. So thank you very, very much. Jack says the boogeyman is scared of me. That's good. That's a good thing. Chantel over here says, that's how I feel when the EAS goes out on my phone over a severe thunderstorm or tornado warning. I'm in a basement bedroom. If it's my time, it's my time. Oh man, I remember some of those times when we would set off the alarms. Man, people would go crazy. And what would be the thing that they would call and ask? So I hear the siren going off. Is there a tornado? I'm like, dude, you have been taught that if you hear that siren, unless you know it's like around testing time, you better take your ass into a spot because one has been spotted. Yes, Chad. Yeah. Why are the sirens going off? I don't know. Dorothy is on her way. So take your ass to some shelter. Take shelter. Oh man. I miss those days though, because it would get crazy as hell in dispatch, and I miss that craziness. I really do. Okay, so here's the other meme, and what the meme shows, Goguru, or Baby Yoda is mostly how people know him, and, Jack says, "Need to talk to you offline about working alone in my 100-plus-year-old plant." What? I'm assuming it was haunted? I wanna hear about that for sure, yes. I'm all about it. Those who are joining in over here on TikTok, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. So Baby Yoda, basically is how everybody knows his character, is like looking around like a basket. And it says, the meme says, me investigating where that strange noise came from after I've watched about 24 hours of murder documentaries. So, not just that, but working in public safety, working in dispatch, woo, same shit. Like, like I was saying, checking to see if the doors are locked. Any little noise that I hear, I'm like, huh? What was that? What could that have been? And if this sounds so bad, but if I can't think, if I can't match it up to something that makes sense, then I go look. I'm not even lying, man. That's my process. Like that's my thinking process. If I can't match that sound up with something that makes sense, then I will go look. I'll go look for it. Let's see over here. Kristen says, whenever I work third shift overtime, they're watching murder documentaries. Us first shifters are not the same. Then I go out in the substation checking each stall before I go to the bathroom. Dude, I would too, though, because some of that shit is real. Like, that shit's crazy. Like, what are some of the other things? Growing up, I remember hearing a story about how, like, in the Midwest, you've got Meijer, which is basically like Walmart, and Walmart is everywhere, right? But one of the stories that I remember growing up was if you're going grocery shopping at night, be careful. Make sure to look underneath your car because there were people underneath cars like slashing ankles or some shit. Could be an urban legend. I don't know. But I remember those stories when I was growing up. I don't know about any of you, but I also remember of another story of I think it was someone who was putting gas in. It was late at night. Somebody was putting gas in. They paid at the pump, and the attendant, ends up saying, because I remember this was like on the news and shit too. But the attendant ends up calling the person in, and the person's like all pissed off, and it's like, no, I already paid. I'm not going to go in. And they're like, your card was declined, and they're like, no, it can't be. And the person's like, you need to come inside now. So they go inside, and when they go inside, the person who's working there goes, "I called you inside because someone got into your car while you were putting in gas." And as they're talking, like, they see the person get out of the car and split, like they took off. This is years and years ago, so stop, don't freak out. Don't be freaking out. This was years ago. I'm just saying that these are some of those things, man, that growing up, I remember these stories. Again, they're probably just urban legends, I don't know, but believe me, I'm always checking. So, like this meme that I have on the screen where it says, "Me investigating where that strange noise came from after I've watched about 24 hours of murder documentaries," it's the same way. Same way. Let's see over here, Jesse says, "Always lock the doors when getting fuel. We had people stealing from cars while they were pumping." See? There you go. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yes, that is true. I'm always locking my doors as well, man. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna lock my doors. And even when I lock my door and I get in the car, I look because I value my life. But seriously, like those noises at night, I will be what or me, please be ET, please. um I will end up watching, documentaries like that, right? So here's a question. How many of you, after you have watched one, two, a series of episodes of like Dateline, 2020, or any crazy documentary, how many of you end up watching something lighthearted so that you can go to sleep. I know I do. I will put on like 2 episodes of Family Guy or something so that I can laugh and then, um, go to sleep from there. That's what I usually do. Um, Otherwise, then I'm like I'm laying there going through scenarios. Okay, so if this happened, where would I go? Which room would I go to first? What would I do for this? I Call me weird, but I've done it before. Yes. Let's see. I Labs over here says I always lock my car door when I get gas. My husband laughs at me. He can laugh all he wants, but you're not going to get any of your stuff stolen. I remember one time I was at a gas station. I was in there for a little bit and I had parked my car over by, oh man, this is going to tell you how long ago this was. I was parked over by a payphone. A payphone. Some of you watching right now may have heard me say payphone and you're thinking, what is he talking about? What archaic shit is that? I don't know what that is. So I had my car parked over by a payphone. Also, it was night. And I was in the gas station for a little bit because there was a long line. And when I left the gas station, as I'm walking towards the car, there was a guy who was walking towards my car at the same time. He did not notice me there. And I'm walking and I'm walking and I hear someone in a truck go, "Hey." And I turn and look over and he's not looking at me. He's saying hey to the other guy. The guy stops and sees me, whew, hauls ass running back to the truck and they took off. And I thought, hell no. I think these guys were going to steal my car. My little crappy Kia Sophia that I had at the time. That was kind of scary. Yeah, cuz I thought, well, maybe the person's going to use the payphone. Nope. No, I was about to get robbed. Again, years ago. Let me look back over here at the comments. The Shar says, yep, until the one time recently there was someone about 50 feet outside my bedroom window trying to cut the exhaust off a vehicle in my yard in the middle of the night. What? How I didn't scream my head off is beyond me. No more murder docs for me. Holy shit. That is something. Over here, Lab says, I had a coworker whose daughter had someone jump in her car at a stoplight. What? What the hell? And Jesse says, you just dated yourself. Use the payphone. That's why I said. That's why I was saying there's probably a lot of people who have no idea what I'm saying when I say payphone. But you did. And yes, I dated myself. All of this gray. Yep. Let's see. Lavelle says, me 20 years ago, go outside to smoke on a break and he hears shots being fired not far away. See, that'd be freaky too. And then go out to the street to see where it's coming from. And the two cars pull up in the parking lot, still shooting at each other. What? Holy hell. Oh man, that's some crazy shit right there. See, Kimmy says, nope, I just turned the volume up and pretend that I heard nothing. Okay, so I remember one time I heard some scary shit. Like it sounded like someone singing is what it sounded like at first. Oh, wait, over here Jesse says, just got to be crazier than those trying to steal from you. Right? Yes. Yeah, especially when you come face to face, you like make yourself bigger like as if it were a bear or something, then the people are like, "Okay, I don't want to mess with this person." But I was sitting in my living room. Okay? I was sitting in the living room and I heard something that sounded like was coming from outside, almost like singing or just like this, I don't know, it was a weird sound and it was freaking me out. And I got up and I started looking around the house. I was like, okay, I don't know where this is coming from, but it sounded like it was going around the house. And I thought, "Hmm, this is what the hell is going on?" Well, then I go upstairs because I knew my son Logan was awake and he was gaming or streaming or something. And I went to go check on him. And when I get upstairs, it was him. Somehow, with the acoustics of this house, what he was doing was like going through the vent and coming up where I was at, and it was the freakiest shit. I I walk in and I said, "Is that you?" And he goes, "Ah, ah, what? What?" It was the most hilarious shit. But he's just like, "Dad, you scared me." And I was like, "You've been scaring me for a while now." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "What do you mean? How was I scaring you?" And I said, "Whatever it was that you were doing, like you're humming or whatever that shit was, I could hear it through the vents, like it was downstairs and I didn't know where it was coming from." And he goes, "Oh," he goes, "I'm really sorry." And I was like, "No, you're fine. It was just freaking me out because I didn't know where it was coming from. And then I come upstairs and see that it's you, and I just scared the crap out of you." And he's like, "Yeah, okay." Oh, man. It was good though because I always get him, so he ended up getting me, so that was good. It was good. Chantel over here says, "Had someone panhandling one night when I stopped for fuel on my way to work at my usual spot. Well, lit heavy traffic, was super pushy. Even when I said I didn't have extra, ended up going in and making a quick purchase to buy time, notify employees, and get someone to walk back out with me." Oh, there you go. That's good. Yes. Oh, wait, Jesse over here says, "Has anyone else developed a fight instead of flight response because of all of these occurrences?" Yeah, you just wanna bring them down, like, bob and weave. Like, if we're gonna go, let's go. It's like one of those moments where you're like, "Alright, I've had it. Let's do this. You wanna come up and get in my grill? Let's do this." What I was gonna say about my son, though, is that, like, we'll be driving in the car, and I will out of nowhere, like, I'll make sure to look at him really quick, and then I'll throw my hand, like, close to him, like, not actually peg his chest or anything, but bring my hand close and go, "Ah!" And he'll go, "Ah! Ah!" And he's like, "What'd you do that for?" I'm like, "I was just playing with you, man." I was like, "You were really quiet." Oh, shit. I said the Q word. If any of you are watching right now from work, I apologize. I apologize. Let's see, Kimmy says, okay, so over here on this platform, Kimmy says, "I have no flight or fight. I have a freeze that comes with an odd sounding squeal." Oh no. Don says, "I missed a few weeks, so I may have missed if you shared it. Did you ever share that news story I sent you about the Christmas tree?" Oh, dude, I don't even remember. I don't remember. Maybe? Wait a minute. That was the story about the person who tried to steal a Christmas tree by pushing it up into her, what is it called? Prison glove? Prison purse? Jail purse? I don't remember the word. I don't remember it now. Damn it. But Dawn, yes, I did. I did share it. Yes, I did. I did share it. I think the following week is when I shared it. I didn't show the picture, like I didn't show the mugshot or anything, but I did share the story because that was one of those WTF moments of like, how the hell are you gonna put a tree up there? Like, unless your bag is the same bag that Mary Poppins' bag is, there's no way all of that shit's going up there. Oh, man, that is so bad. Oh, crap. Alright. There was one more meme, but I'm gonna save this one for next week because it's a good one as well, and it can generate a lot of discussion. These 2 did just that, and they did everything I wanted them to. So, thank you all so very much for being on for open mic. I wanna check in, though, with all of you to see where your numbers are at now. How are you feeling now? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being shitty, 10 being awesome, where are you at now? Because I'm way above a 10 now. And it was awesome being here with all of you and sharing some of this funny shit, and also how we are not too far apart in how we think and how we feel. We do we do and feel the same in a lot of ways, especially like I said on the kind of the funnier part of how the job has changed us. Let's see, Don says, "Well, I was good at the start, but I'm working. You just said the Q word and the phone started ringing." Oh shit. Don, I am so sorry. Ah, I didn't mean to. It just came out, man. It just came out. I apologize. Uh Jack 7. It's been a tough week, but tonight started at a 4. Oh, good. Okay, so you were at a 4, but you got up to a 7. That is good. That is awesome. Chantel says, I was a 5 or so when I hopped on, but I'm closer to a 10 now. Thank you for the laughs and the smiles. Yes, this is what it's all about. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for the job that you do. And if you're retired for the job that you did, thank you. Once dispatch, always dispatch is how I feel. And it's awesome to always be here with you each week and take an hour out of our day to forget about the bullshit in the world and just share some stories. Excuse me. Again, whether it be public safety related or not, or just some funny personal stories. It's awesome to be here because I'm a firm believer that laughing is good medicine and we are healing by just talking and sharing and laughing. So thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate you. I love you all. This has been awesome. And this live broadcast has been sponsored by InDigital, a leader next gen core services. If you ever want to be a guest on the show for the flagship show, if you have any questions or anything like that, you can email us, and that's going to be WTTpodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that is WTTpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter. That is @91podcast. You can like us on Facebook. That is Facebook.com/Within the Trenches Podcast, or you can simply check out links. That is liiks.co/WTT podcast. All of my social media, podcast, all of that shit is there in one spot for you to check out. If you want to become a patron of the podcast or a subscriber of the podcast on Facebook, you can check us out. That is patreon.com/WTT podcast. And then on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Within the Trenches podcast/support. And again, there's going to be bonus content in reference to this book that is going to be coming out, and it's going to be going out to subscribers. So make sure to check that out. That's going to be coming soon. And then over here, Jesse says, thanks for making the night better. Was a 2, now a 9. Yes. Oh, hell yes. I love that. Thank you. I'm so glad that you were here and that we were able to have some fun and some laughs and everything. This has been really, really good. Man, I can't say enough. This has just been excellent. This can be seen on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, as well as TikTok and Instagram. And the flagship show, the podcast. If you want to listen, you can listen 24/7, and that's on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, your favorite podcasting app, and withinthetrenches.net. Have a good one, everyone. We'll see you all in the